Hi there, I am Pamela Petrick, also known as the Dietless Dieting Coach, and I am a registered nurse, a certified holistic health coach, and busy women come to me when they are ready to ditch the yo-yo dieting, the constant weight regain, and the fatigue, and they are ready for natural, holistic strategies for their unique bodies so they can release the weight, keep it off, and feel light and free. And when they work with me via my Beyond the Fork Academy, we customize their journey for their own unique body. And so I am on a mission for you to find those solutions that are natural and holistic that'll work for your unique body, which is exactly why I created the Beyond the Food Weight Loss Summit, specifically designed for women over 40 who are ready to break free from the constant weight regain and nothing's working for you. This summit is different because I'm bringing together experts who will share their top strategies to help you release weight naturally without extreme diets, restrictions, or extreme workouts, and help you to achieve lasting weight loss and transform your health for good. Plus, every expert is giving you a free gift, all specifically geared for women over 40. Do you have your pen ready? It's time for our next featured expert for the Beyond the Food Weight Loss Summit, Real Solutions for Women Over 40.
Hello, I am so excited to talk to you today all about protein in perimenopause. I am Angelena, or Coach Angelena to my clients. I am a mom of two. I have a teenage daughter and a son who is 8. I am married to my college sweetheart. This year will be 25 years of us being together and 19 years of us being married. I am the founder of Fit Club. I have been in the industry as a personal trainer and nutrition coach for 16 years. I also have a lot of other certifications, but not going to list them all here. I help women who are in their 40s and beyond transform their bodies with weightlifting and macro tracking. So, no gimmicks or anything here. And just wanted to connect with you guys. So, let's connect. I'm over on Facebook, I'm over on Instagram at Coach Angelena. I would love to hear from you. You can also send me an email if you would like, or check out my website for any other information. All right, so let's get into it. Today, our topics are going to be why protein is so important, tips on how to hit your protein goal, why macro tracking is important, and then how macro tracking can help you with your fat loss goal. I also want to mention the few bonuses for you guys. So don't forget to grab the free high protein meal prep blueprint. That has been getting high praise from everybody who has grabbed it. It will definitely help you with all of the information that you learn here today. Take it and put it into practice. And then also for those of you who upgraded to the Weight Freedom Pack, you will also get my mini course, which is 4-week to macro mastery. Okay, so don't forget to grab those. Let's jump into why protein is important. So these are what we are going to cover. It builds and repairs your muscle. It boosts your metabolism, helps to keep you full and reduce your cravings, protects muscle in a fat loss phase, and then supports your hormonal balance. So the first one is protein builds and repairs your muscle. So protein is made up of amino acids. I'm sure you've heard protein called the building block of your muscle. And whether you're lifting weights or if you do cardio or just living life, your muscles will experience micro tears and they'll need repairing. And it will happen even faster if you are lifting weights. Those micro tears will happen a lot more frequently. And protein helps to rebuild stronger, leaner muscle. So especially if you're weight training, which I highly recommend for any woman 40 plus especially. So if you are in perimenopause, muscle naturally is going to start to decline, unfortunately. So protein becomes even more crucial to maintaining our strength, our mobility, lets us get around, and definitely helps to work with our metabolism. So protein does boost your metabolism. And why this happens is because out of the three macronutrients, protein has the highest thermic effect, which means your body is going to burn more calories digesting that protein than it does, say, carbs or fats. Okay, so about 20 to 30% of the calories in protein are burned during digestion. So definitely helps just to naturally boost your metabolism. And then another bonus is the more lean muscle you have, built and maintained with protein, of course, the more calories your body is going to burn at rest. So, protein helps you become even more of an efficient fat burner if you're not working out. So, you go and you hit the gym, you lift weights, and in that rest period, your body is going to be burning more calories at rest than if you did not weight train and did not also fuel with protein. Another one is protein keeps you full and helps to reduce cravings. So, if you've noticed in the evening or during the day, you're constantly hungry, or you get to the end of the day and you find yourself late night snacking, one of the things that protein can help to do is to keep you full. So, to help you keep full all throughout your day, you want to make sure that every time you have a meal or a snack, you're getting some protein in. It's also going to help to control your appetite. It reduces levels of the hunger hormone, which is called ghrelin, and helps to increase your satiety hormones like peptide YY. Meals high in protein help to keep you feel fuller longer. So, if you are in a calorie deficit, it helps you to stay full without feeling so deprived. So, if you ever noticed when you've been in a calorie deficit, you're trying to lose some fat, you're hungry all day long, and maybe you eat something that just has carbs, you're not going to be quite as full as if you would have carbs and protein. Put it all together, carbs, protein, fat, definitely going to help to have you feeling fuller a lot longer. It can also be especially helpful during fat loss phases or hormone shifts that increase cravings. So, of course, perimenopause, our hormones fluctuate throughout the month, and it just helps to keep you full more consistently, making sure that you keep that protein in. And like I said, taking it and splitting it up throughout your day is definitely going to help you to make sure that you're eating enough protein, keeping yourself full. Next is protein protects your muscle during a fat loss phase. So if you're losing weight, obviously you want to lose fat, not muscle, but without enough protein, your body may start breaking down muscle for energy. And this is one of the things that we want to avoid because protein helps to preserve that lean muscle mass. And we want to keep that lean muscle mass because it keeps your metabolism healthy. And it also helps you, we say that we want to look toned, we want to look fit. Muscle is going to do that. So we want to make sure that we are backing up our weight training, eating our protein. And so even though we're trying to lose fat, we may, of course, lose some muscle, but making sure that you hit your protein goal will ensure that you are not losing lean muscle mass more rapidly than you want to be losing body fat. So the difference between just losing weight versus transforming your body composition is making sure that we protect that muscle during that fat loss phase. So you're weight training and then you're backing it up with making sure that you eat enough protein, keeps you looking lean, helps to support your muscle, and make sure that you're not only losing muscle mass during a fat loss phase. Protein also supports a hormonal balance. So, of course, during perimenopause and of course beyond, hormonal changes can lead to muscle loss, fat gain, and decreased energy. So, unfortunately, that is just what comes with the territory of aging and being in perimenopause. However, we can offset those things, making sure that we have enough protein. Protein helps to stabilize our blood sugar, it balances our cortisol levels, it also helps to maintain healthy levels of estrogen related hormones. It's also going to help offset muscle and bone loss, which become more common with age. So, if you don't know, resistance training is the best way to make sure that you are not losing bone density and can also help to regain bone density that has been lost. So, making sure that you're lifting weights, And then we're going to be fueling it with protein. So for women who are over 40, making sure that you're prioritizing protein, it's not just about looking good, although it definitely will help. It is about supporting long-term health and energy as well as your strength. So if you want to age gracefully, if you want to still be independent, get around on your own as you age, my goal is to be lifting until I'm 80 and beyond, and just making sure that protein is on the forefront and it's there supporting those goals that you have. How much protein do you need? So this is a question that I get asked all the time. And there really is no one size fits all answer, but I'm going to do my best to give you a good guideline. So a baseline to aim for is 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. I say most women should at least be aiming for 120 grams of protein. And that can be a little bit late, especially if you are weight training. But if you have been eating significantly less than that, shooting for that baseline of 120 grams a day is going to be great. It's a great start. So let's just say going off of the 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So say your goal weight is 150 pounds, then 150 grams of protein daily would be your goal. If fat loss is your goal, so that higher protein intake is going to help you to preserve muscle while we're burning fat. And then if muscle growth is your goal, you need protein to rebuild your muscles after workouts. So again, it's not a hard, fast rule, but this is a really good baseline. All of the research right now is saying that women need minimum of 120 grams of protein, but really shooting for anywhere between that 0.8 to 1 gram of per pound of ideal body weight. Okay. So let's talk about how we're going to hit that protein goal. So first, you want to make sure that you are planning your protein first. So every meal should have a protein source. So things like chicken, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt. There are vegan or vegetarian sources that you can pull from, tofu, etc. Batch cooking your staples. So making sure that you have proteins prepped, grilled chicken, shredded beef, hard boiled eggs, having these things prepared and in your fridge ahead of time really is going to be the best way to make sure that you are going to be able to hit your protein goal. A lot of the times it's so much easier for us to grab things like carbs, things like fat, because we don't have to cook them, right? And you can't really just walk into a gas station and grab some grilled chicken. Granted, you could grab maybe some beef jerky, and there's some other things that you can grab if you're in a pinch. But really batch cooking those staples once, twice a week to having those on hand is really going to help you to hit that protein goal. Making sure that you are having high protein snacks on hand. So things like Greek yogurt are super easy to grab. You can also make dips and sauces out of it. Cottage cheese. If you are anywhere online at all, cottage cheese is having its moment. And there's lots of recipes because of its high protein content. And you can kind of take it and use it in many different ways to up the protein content of the food that you're eating. Things like having protein bars or beef jerky in your purse. So if you are somebody who is always on the go, having something like that is going to be better than, say, driving through a drive-through where you're really not going to be able to get exactly what you're looking for, but it'll help keep you full long enough until you get home and you can eat a meal. Another tip is to use your crock pot or air fryer. So it's an easy, hands-free way to prep delicious protein-rich meals. And really, you can set those different things up. It's kind of like at least the crock pot can be your set and forget. You throw some chicken breasts in there with some broth and some vegetables. And, that evening you have dinner and then you're able to put aside the rest for meals for the rest of the week. And then your air fryer, I love using an air fryer. So I will be, say, batch cooking my chicken and batch cooking, say, like some hamburgers on my grill. I can also have my air fryer going with some sweet potatoes. I'll also just do things like roasted potatoes, and then I will have those things on hand. You can also do air fried broccoli, vegetables, different things that way, just to kind of keep it easy, keep it you can change up your meals throughout the week. So another tip is trying new recipes every single week. So these keeps your meals exciting so you don't get bored. That's one of the things that I hear often is, oh, coach, how do I'm so bored eating the same things over and over again. And instead of trying to like overhaul and write a menu every single week, try one new recipe. Throw something in there that you haven't tried before and really just do something new once a week. So that way it's a new, fresh taste for you and you don't get bored with those same things that you're eating over and over again. Now, if you're someone who doesn't get bored eating, chicken and broccoli and rice, although I will change it up with the different things that I do. I will make like a high protein bowl with those things and I'll add like a different sauce. And so I can make it a Greek bowl by adding feta, or I can make it a Mexican bowl by adding in salsa. So just different ways to change up the staples that you have on hand. And so just to kind of shout out that bonus that I have in my high protein meal prep blueprint, it's going to have delicious recipes for you that are high protein. There's tips for high protein meal prep. So a meal prep is something that people think, oh, I'm going to spend hours and hours in the kitchen. And that necessarily doesn't have to be true. This helps you to just kind of do it quickly. I usually will do big protein batch cooking sessions twice a week. And then I have enough prepared to use for dinners and lunches throughout the week. And then there also is a sample meal plan in there for you as well. So it's based on that baseline of reaching 120 grams of protein daily. And so one of the ways that you can do that is so the first thing that, I said here is plan your protein first. So making sure that you take a look at your meals throughout the day. And if you have 120 grams of protein that you're trying to reach, you're going to split that up, say maybe 4 meals and snacks. And so you're getting about 30 grams of protein every time you eat. And really just being able to kind of take a look at what a sample meal plan would look like for you. That is why I added that into the bonus, because sometimes just seeing ways to break up your protein throughout the day definitely just helps you kind of have a ballpark goal to shoot for as you're working on hitting that protein goal. Now, it's not going to be seamless. It's not going to be super easy right off the bat. However, it's practice, and practice makes perfect. And again, just rotating different meals in really will help to keep things fresh and interesting. So don't forget to grab that high protein meal prep blueprint. And that really is going to be a great resource for you as you work on hitting your protein goal. All right, so let's get into macro tracking. So what is macro tracking and why is it important? So macro tracking is different than if you were just going to be tracking, say, calories overall. If you were just going to grab, say, your phone and open up your tracking app, your food tracking app, I use MyFitnessPal as well as my clients. It's very user friendly and it does save all of your information. You can save recipes, you can save meals. So it really is a user friendly tool. And macro tracking is different because instead of just looking at how many calories you eat throughout the day, you're going to be seeing how much protein you eat, how many carbs you eat, how much fat you eat, and even fiber. Fiber is something I have my clients keep an eye on, and then sugar. So it really brings awareness to everything that you're eating as opposed to just calories. So if we're looking at our overall calories here, if we have, person A and they're just tracking calories, say they eat 1,500 calories a day, but they're not looking at their macros, they may be eating, say 50 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbohydrates, and usually around 60 grams of fat. Okay, that is going to be different than person B who is tracking their macros. So they have a goal to hit 120 grams of protein and let's say 130 grams of carbs and 60 grams of fat. Now, don't quote me on the exact calories there because I'm just pulling numbers out. But somebody there is going to have a totally different day, someone who's just tracking calories, person A, than person B who's tracking their macros. Okay, so let's get into why it's important. So it's going to make sure that you're eating enough protein. And again, helps to preserve your muscle mass, helps to keep your metabolism strong, and supports a lean tone look as you lose that fat. So protein is the number one reason why I recommend macro tracking, because most people are not getting enough protein on a day-to-day basis. Okay. And when somebody does actually go in and track what they eat, they're really surprised that they have not been getting enough protein in. Okay, it also brings awareness to what you're really eating. So it helps you see the full picture, not just calories, but where those calories are coming from and what your macro split is throughout the day. It's also going to help prevent undereating and overeating. So tracking your macros gives you a structure, so that way you're not overeating on fat or overeating on carbs and undereating protein. And the reason I say that is because, like I mentioned before, most people have no problem hitting carbs because carbs are very readily available for us, where protein is not quite as easy to have on hand. So a lot of the times we are not really knowing, but we are overeating on carbs and fats and then undereating on protein, both of which will stall fat loss progress. If you say you have started losing some weight and then you're like, what's happening? I'm not really seeing any more changes. And you start tracking your macros and you're like, light bulb moment. This is why I'm not eating enough protein. I'm eating too many carbs and fats. So it helps to prevent overeating and undereating of the things that you don't necessarily are paying attention to. So creates flexibility without cutting out foods. And this is one that I really love. I think it's a very important one, is macro tracking gives you freedom to include foods that you love while also reaching your goals. So something I say all the time to my ladies is it's not about perfection. It's about balance and consistency over time. And if you were to just go in and start a fat loss journey and cut out everything that you love, chances are you're not going to be able to stick with it for very long. It loses the flexibility of being able to go out to eat, go to parties, and you feel like you're restricted. And it's really not going to last very long because it feels so restrictive. So this gives you the flexibility to not have to let go of your favorite things like pizza, ice cream, being able to go out and enjoy a meal with friends and family. It allows you to make sure that, yes, you're staying in balance, you're still hitting your protein goals, but you're still also able to enjoy the foods that you love. And that is one of the things that I find macro tracking is so important for. Again, it's not about perfection. It's not trying to hit those numbers spot on every single day, but really is just finding that balance of hitting enough protein, hitting the right amount of carbs and the right kind of carbs. Of course, we don't want all of our calories of carbohydrates to come from processed carbs. We still want to make sure that we're getting in the high fiber carbohydrates and making sure that we are focused on a balance of foods, but it allows you to not feel so restricted. So I think that is one of the key reasons why macro tracking is so important. And lastly, how can macro tracking help with fat loss? So, kind of touched on this a little bit, but it helps you to choose healthy food first, but then also allows food freedom. So, it's making sure that you're eating the right balance of macros for your goals. So, whether it's fat loss or muscle gain or maintenance, whatever your goal is, it ensures that you're eating the right balance for those goals. So, if you have a fat loss goal, we want to make sure that you're eating the right balance of macros. That way you can lose that fat safely. May take a little bit more time than if you were just to cut out everything, but it ensures that you're not going to rebound back because you're not feeling so restricted. It also, like I said, allows you to enjoy your treats in moderation. So if you have something coming up, an event, or you just are going out to dinner, you know that you can enjoy those things in moderation because you are creating that balance. It supports a calorie deficit while still eating enough protein for your muscles and metabolism. So, macro tracking, of course, we want to make sure that we're hitting our protein. We want to make sure that we're not going too far over on our carbs and our fats. And it really does help just to find that right balance. Okay, so I hope that I have provided you guys with some information and some tools to really start diving into eating more protein for your goals, kind of give you a place to start. Okay. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to learn more about protein and macro tracking and how it can help you reach your goals. Just a few things to wrap up. Make sure that you grab your bonuses. So again, your free high protein meal prep blueprint will help you to kind of take what you learned today and put it into practice. And of course, for those of you who did the upgrade, you're going to get my mini course, 4 weeks to macro mastery. That really is just going to deep dive more into macros. And then last, let's stay connected. So you can send me an email with any questions you may have over on my email, which is angelena@coachangelena.net. And of course, follow me on Instagram, pop on over there, say hello. I love to meet new people and hear about your journey. And of course, I post a lot of information over there as well. So I would love to stay connected. So thank you so much for being here with me today. And I will see you soon.